Hey everybody, Wolf Lord Rho here. Before I begin today, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Genogreen for the virtual gift voucher. Thank you very much, my friend. I truly appreciate the support. Thank you. But on to today's topic. So continuing on from our look at which Primarch Roboute Guilliman might want to return the most, as promised, we now look at which Primarch the Imperium needs the most. Because like I said previously, those are two very different things. If you haven't watched our previous talk about what Primarchs Guilliman might prefer to return, consider going to check that one out first before continuing with this one. General spoiler warning to begin, I may discuss general lore events from the current 40k timeline and Horus Heresy, but with that said, let's just jump straight in. Now, as per the same criteria as last time, despite the small teases and hopes of their return, Sanguinius and Ferrus Manus are currently very much dead, with little hope of a return. So that leaves us with 6 possible loyal Primarchs to return. Jagatai Khan of the White Scars, Vulcan of the Salamanders, Lion L. Johnson of the Dark Angels, Rogel Dawn of the Imperial Fists, Corax of the Raven Guard, and Leman Russ of the Space Wolves. Now, in our previous conversation, I came to the conclusion Roboute would most likely prefer the return of those Primarchs he not only had a closer relationship with, but ones he could be certain of their actions, namely Corax, Vulcan, and Dawn. However, they aren't the Primarchs I believe Guilliman and the Imperium necessarily needs the most. The Imperium has existed for over 10,000 years now, in essentially a state of stagnation and slow decay, since most likely the Emperor's enthronement, but most definitely since the remaining Primarchs were lost. It became a matter of simply trying to cling on to what they have, always reacting to the threats as they occurred. And as long as the Imperium remains on the back foot, the outlook will only ever get worse. And Guilliman, to his credit, I believe realises this. That was one of the main reasons behind his Indomitus crusade, to take the fight to the enemy, to bring the sheer brute force power of the Imperium to bear and punch chaos straight in the mouth, to shine the light of the Imperium and the Emperor back out into the stars. And in doing this, the Indomitus crusade was virtually unstoppable, like spears of light thrusting out into the darkness that was enveloping the Imperium. Unfortunately, since then, Guilliman has gone back on the defensive, folding the crusade to defend his beloved realm of Ultramar against his brother Mortarion. And this is why I believe the Imperium and Guilliman need another Primarch to return, to take the Imperium back on the offensive. No more waiting to react to the enemy, desperately trying to defend what they have. Someone to take the fight to them, to bring the full force of the Imperium to bear. And this means Guilliman's preferred 3, in my opinion, aren't the best fit. Corax could fit the bill, but his hit and run tactics aren't the best solution for the Imperium right now. And we do have to consider he's currently seeking personal vengeance against his traitor brothers. Would he continue that should he return to the Imperium? Vulcan would be a major boon to restoring the values of humanity to the Imperium, but he needs a stable Imperium to do that, and tactically he would be far too engaged in defending the people of the Imperium. He wouldn't leave a single person on the most unimportant remote planet until they were safe. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's the great thing about Vulcan. It's his most endearing quality. It's just he needs a platform to do that. Dawn, of course, has the strategic mind, but I do believe with the state of the Imperium, his instinct to defend and fortify first would prevail. But could he do it to the point where the Imperium could eventually go on the offensive? I'm not so sure, and I don't believe he would completely disregard Guilliman as possibly may be needed. And that's why I believe Guilliman would enjoy his return the most, as he kind of ticks the boxes of being in the middle ground. But this now leaves us with Jagatai, Russ and Johnson, the 3 Primarchs I actually thought Guilliman would least enjoy their return. And that's because all of which have the mindset to take the fight to the enemy. They would not want to sit and defend. It goes against their nature. but there is one who stands ahead of his brothers in this situation, and that is Lion L. Johnson. Now, I'm not saying the Lion is the best Primarch, obviously, as a son of Russ, but I do believe he is what the Imperium needs. And the main reason I think him over Jagatai or Russ is because he would bring back the force of a legion. The Unforgiven chapters have remained extremely unified since the breaking down of the legions, and we have had it confirmed by Russ that he does not believe the Lion would have agreed with Guilliman and accepted the abolishment of the legions. The Lion would command the Unforgiven like the Dark Angels Legion of old, rebuild and restore the power of the First, and unleash his wrath against chaos. And let's remember, we don't actually know how many Dark Angel successors there actually are, but with the purity of the Gene Seed and the new Ultima founding, it could easily make a Legion strength. With the influx of Primaris recruits, the Lion could truly rival a Legion size of old, and that is an almighty power. And combined with his reputation as one of the best generals amongst the Primarchs, it really solidifies his position. Let's not forget, this guy was heavily rumoured to be amongst the running for War Master, and that Horus savoured getting the position not over Guilliman or Dawn, but over the Lion. Jagatai wouldn't seek to assemble all the sons of Chagoris. At least I don't believe so. He's actually very hard to predict just what the Khan would do. He's so unknowable. But the White Scars very rarely ever fought as a full legion, when they even were one. And Russ doesn't have that option. Successors of the Space Wolves have been few and far between. For all his personal might, the Space Wolves are nowhere near Legion strength. And while yes, he could form a crusade of other chapters, that's not his nature. His nature is leading his wolves in their way of war. No, of all the Primarchs, I believe the Lion has the best combination of aggression, strategic brilliance, and most importantly, resources and opportunity to be the best fit for the Imperium's current situation. And while he may not be the best personal fit for Guilliman, there's no doubting the Lion taking the fight to the enemy would allow Guilliman much needed time to focus on his main strength of administration, rebuilding and re-strengthening the Imperium. But as always, what do you guys think? Do you agree that Guilliman's personal wants and need would be different? Or do you think the man in blue can still know this despite his current mindset? As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. A huge thank you to all of my subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me. It truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. If you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.